So, WrestleMania 41 was a little disappointing, especially when you look at the main event, which featured Travis Scott for some reason, and he took like 10 minutes to get to the ring. Due to this, a lot of fans are beginning to sour on the product, with a focus on TKO and the man in charge of creative, Triple H. Some people have gone as far as to say that they want Vince McMahon back.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
As with anything in life, there's parts of this discussion that I agree with and others that I just can't. Especially when it comes to Vince, man. Like, even if you put the huge elephant in the room to the side for a second, I think people forget just how bad 2019 was creatively. We had people getting disqualified in Hell in a Cell matches. Kofi Kingston lost the WWE Championship in 4 seconds. Like, it was just not a good time in the WWE. Even when you look at attendance, man, I think that was a record low attendance year for the company. So what parts of the discussion do I agree with? I think the first thing that everyone can agree on is that WrestleMania 41 in terms of build just does not compare to WrestleMania 40. Like, WrestleMania 40 had an insane amount of hype, and you know, we get why. Yeah, that was the anniversary show. Every 10 WrestleManias it feels like the WWE tries to put on a show. But even still, man, something was missing from this WrestleMania. A huge part of the build to WrestleMania 40 was The Rock. Last year, you know, him turning heel, him becoming the final boss and his feud with Cody Rhodes, like all of that was really compelling. I actually made a full video on it over here.
Don't you ever break my heart again.
We all thought, or at least I did, that we'd get the continuation of that story at WrestleMania 41. So when The Rock acted like none of that happened at the Netflix debut, I was super disappointed, man. Like, he just killed that entire storyline. It was really weird. And then fast forward a couple of weeks and now he wants Cody's soul. Like,
I want your soul.
Looking back at it, none of this made any sense, bro. What was The Rock cooking? So of course Cody says no and The Rock finds someone else's soul to take. And that was John Cena at Elimination Chamber. Honestly, this is where the WWE got me hooked back in, man. Like, this was really cool. Something that we never thought would happen. John Cena turning heel. What is that gonna look like? It was pretty cool. And also we had Travis Scott for the first time. So you'd think with The Rock being this involved with Cody's soul and Elimination Chamber that he'd actually show up at WrestleMania. But the answer was no.
If your answer is no, then tonight, the dream dies.
So during the main event, when just Travis Scott came out, obviously everyone was disappointed. Like, I don't see how they thought that was a good idea. There was only one possible reaction you were gonna get with that. And I honestly don't know who to blame, man. Is it TKO's fault? Is it The Rock's fault? Is it Triple H's fault? The Rock just did an interview with Pat McAfee recently, and it was a mess for the most part. And sometimes it's really hard to believe The Rock, because I mean, he lies constantly.
We can insert final boss in the end of this finish, but then where do we go? There's other commitments that I have.
So quick summary, it seems like The Rock was planning to not be involved in WrestleMania this year, but was asked to come to Elimination Chamber because ticket sales were slow. And this is, I think this is pretty accurate, because if you look at WrestleTix, it's pretty consistent that, you know, once The Rock was announced, a lot more tickets got sold. But, you know, we have to address why they weren't moving tickets in the first place, and that's the really high ticket prices. Because, you know, I was thinking about going and then I saw the ticket prices and I was like, nah, it ain't gonna work for me, bro. But, you know, we'll talk about TKO and that whole thing later on. If you take The Rock at his word and what he's saying is true, then I think it was a mistake just having him involved at all. Like, if he wasn't gonna show up at WrestleMania, he might as well have just not been there for the whole time, because it created like unnecessary expectations, you know, for that main event, when it could have just focused on John Cena and Cody. But now, you know, people were thinking about The Rock. So yeah, that was a mistake creatively. But again, it's a difficult spot for Triple H, because you can't say no to The Rock, man. He's the most popular wrestler in the world. Like, if he says he wants to do something, I guess you have to say yes. So stepping back from The Rock a little bit, I gotta say, man, John Cena's heel turn hasn't been great so far. And my biggest issue with it is, like, he does this villain voice every now and then, and he sounds goofy, bro. Like, I can't take him seriously whenever he does that.
For 3 generations of your family is erased.
Because now I'm just, it feels like he's playing a character, and it was always gonna feel that way because we know who Cena is in real life. But I haven't felt convinced throughout this whole heel turn, and he keeps repeating the same thing. and that's beginning to get really annoying. Like, he keeps saying that, oh, I'm gonna break up with the fans and this is a toxic relationship, and he says that over and over and over again.
It's the same thing over and over and over.
And hey, that might be the point of it. This might be a meta thing where, you know, they're trying to frustrate the fans in that way, but yeah, it's annoying, bro. Like, I feel like skipping, and I feel like that's not the reaction that they're looking for. I haven't enjoyed it so far, but I'm optimistic for what it's gonna look like. But yeah, apart from the main event, another big topic of discussion was Jey Uso and the World Heavyweight Championship.
You asking just meals? Yeet. Hell yeah, I love it. Fire. Soak it in, cause this is it right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but hell yeah.
I'm cool with Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight title. I don't know why people are acting like Jey Uso is the worst wrestler in the world. Like, he isn't that bad, man. It's not Jack Swagger, you know what I mean? Most of the negative opinions on Jey Uso is just, you know, what you read online. But in arena, when you're watching him come out there, you know, the crowd is with him every step of the way. So yeah, rooting for Jey Uso. Hopefully he has a great world title run. His first feud is against Logan Paul. People were mad about that, but I think it works, man. Logan Paul is the biggest heel on Raw, and it's not because of kayfabe. He's just like an asshole in real life. And then you're going against the biggest babyface in Jey Uso. I think it's just gonna work for the crowd in attendance, and it's gonna work for me watching. So I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. Okay, and finally, the thing which I really want to talk about is WWE profit maximizing under TKO. Like, bro, I fully understand the need to make money. I fully understand that, you know, there's some avenues which they haven't explored yet when it comes to that, but they're doing too much, bro. It's becoming too much watching the show. It's like, it makes you want to click off because it's getting ridiculous. And it's not just, you know, ticket prices have gone up a bunch, but I mean, that makes sense, right? Because demand is high, you're obviously going to raise ticket prices. I understand that, and they will bring them down if ticket sales starts to slow. But the main thing which I want to talk about is advertising. It's, especially at WrestleMania, it was way too much, bro. It felt like I was being assaulted with ads. Every 5 seconds, Michael Cole is reading an ad. On the ring mats, these ads. On the turnbuckle, these ads. Even the stage had ads, bro. Like, how is the stage sponsored, bro? Like, nah, they're doing way too much with the advertising. And the main thing that gets me annoyed is when they have sponsored entrances. Like Drew McIntyre coming out as the guy from Doom. Like Jey Uso's entrance being sponsored by a game. Like, I don't know. Now you're taking me out of it. Because I want to enjoy the entrances. I want the wrestlers to express themselves, not, you know, express an ad. That's really the main part of it that I don't like, man. Like, having entrances being sponsored and it not fitting the characters themselves, it really just makes the product feel soulless in a way, man. Like, it feels like I'm watching a giant ad at that point. For the most part, like the ring mat stuff, I don't really mind that. Even the LED barricades, I don't really mind that. Like, I wish the colors were a little bit more muted, but that stuff I can tolerate. Even Michael Cole reading ads every now and then, I can tolerate that. But when you're having, you know, the show be interrupted by ads with entrances, like now you've just come back from an ad break and now you're watching an ad on an entrance. It's too much, bro. Like, I really hope they don't, you know, focus more into that. But I don't know, something tells me it's just gonna get even worse, man. Every entrance next year is gonna be sponsored. Every match is gonna be sponsored. But yeah, I wish they would slow down and pull it back a little bit when it comes to that. But we'll have to wait and see. In addition to that, we also just had a massive round of roster cuts. And it's always weird when they do this, because just last week they announced WrestleMania was the biggest WrestleMania ever. They're making the most money that they've ever had. And we get that that's for investors, but still, bro, like, it's just, it feels a little bit weird when you're firing people and you're making as much money as they are. The women's tag division seemed to be the focus of the cuts, which is disappointing because it feels like they've never really been given a chance. They've never really been given a fair shot. And I feel like there was potential there, like especially with the medicals, like Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. Lash Legend is still with the company, but I thought those two together was pretty interesting. And they gave them like a huge spotlight last year on the main roster that, you know, I thought they were going to get called up together, but it just speaks to what they think of the women's tag division. It's not really a priority of theirs, and that's disappointing. Overall, the WWE is in a bit of a weird place right now. The last 2 years have been nothing but positivity, but right now it's starting to get a little bit shaky. You know, it's starting to become a whole lot more negative. With both TKO and the advertising that we're seeing more and more, and ticket prices going up, And also WWE creative just not hitting the mark on things that we expected. Although, I mean, I'm still entertained for the most part. I'm still looking forward to 2025 in WWE. I hope they can find a balance of, you know, making money but also keeping it watchable, because yeah, it's starting to get to a point where it's too much. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.